Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Josephine Nyiranzeyimana from Rwanda, Africa. And I'm going to be sharing the digital transformation journey of my country, Rwanda. All right. So as I was saying, I'm going to be sharing our journey of the digital transformation. Okay. So my presentation will cover a bit of background and history of my country. And then, so Rwanda is a small country in the Central East African part of Africa. About the size, it's a small 338 kilometer square kilometers with a population of around 12 million people. It's a mix of very hilly landscape, rural and urban, small urban areas. But what I wanted to really mention here is our history and background. As you all know, we went through a very deep tragedy in the 1994, where there was a genocide against Tutsi that took more than 1 million people's lives. So after the genocide against Tutsi, it was a really hard situation for our country. We had to rebuild from almost scratch, and being a landlocked country with very limited literacy in terms of the population that went to school, but also very limited natural resources for the country. So thanks to the visionary leadership, I'm struggling to get the next slide, but thanks to the visionary leadership, we were able to devise a vision, a new vision for the country that was called the Vision 2020. And really, the vision focused on rebuilding the country by developing good governance and driving the country to become a capable city where human capital development or human resource development towards becoming a knowledge-based economy was put as the main pillar. And then the economy to involve more the private sector and transforming from an agrarian economy where more than 90% of the population were involved in agricultural activities. So the idea was to really modernize the agriculture sector. And then infrastructure development. I'll really tell you that back then, in the years around 1996, there was no fiber optic in the country. And the internet penetration, phone penetration were very low, below 10. And also, being a landlocked country, leveraging the integration at regional or international level was a core part of getting to develop. So in this Vision 2020, ICT was said to be the key enabler of the transformation that we want. So during that time, the first national infrastructure communication strategy was put in place. And that's the National Information Communication Infrastructure part. The first part was called NICI 1 and focused on enabling, setting the enabling environment. And that's when the first institutional regulatory frameworks were elaborate. And the market, the telecommunication market was liberalized to admit more players in the sector. And then secondly, the infrastructure was developed. The country was covered with fiber optics networks, reaching all the district offices. And then the third, NICI focused on digitizing the services. That's where we had the first government e-service portal, Irembo, and then the Smart Rwanda Master Plan that focused really on mainstreaming ICT in all other sectors. So all that towards our Vision 2020. So this is a sign to next slide. So on the next slide, I will be focusing on the Smart Rwanda Master Plan, which, next slide, please. It's not working. Yeah. So on the next slide, I will be focusing on the Smart Rwanda Master Plan, which is our current ICT strategy being implemented. And it focuses on really mainstreaming ICT in all sectors and leverage the digital capabilities to transform businesses in different sectors. So three underlying foundation were set, and 7 key pillars were defined. That is how ICT was going to be used in other sectors. So among the sectors that were chosen to drive the digital transformation were health, and then finance, trade and industry, agriculture, education, governance, and what we call women empowerment through and youth empowerment through technology. So the foundation were in terms of capacity building, so realizing that we need capacity and skilled human resource in all the different sectors to be able to drive the digital transformation. We need secure and shared infrastructure, and then good IT management and governance. So like I said, the 7 key sectors, as described here, was chosen to really be the first to drive this digital transformation. So among what we were able to achieve during this journey is a bit of impact that I'm going to share in the next slide. So the results and outcomes of the digital transformation so far in Rwanda. Well, apologies about that technical challenge. All right. So I've picked some of the key projects that we've been implementing. Some of them are still undergoing, but the main ones are those that are really benefiting us, from government to citizen to even civil society point of view. So we have what we call the Integrated Financial Management Information System, which is a finance management system deployed across the government and is used at central level to manage public finances. We have Umucho, which is our e-procurement system. All the government tenders and procurement processes are done through this system so far. We have the IPPIS, or e-recruitment, which is an HR, public human resource management system, and help us track the performance contract of civil servants, manage payroll, and is used for the recruitment processes. We also have the IECMS, which is the Integrated Case Management System, used in the judiciary and justice sector. So in Rwanda, all cases are submitted through this system, and it's really helping us getting paperless and fast-track processes in the justice sector. We have the Irembo that I just mentioned, our e-government portal for services, and around 100 services can be accessed on this platform, 3 of them being totally digitalized. That means you don't have to move from your home, and you can access it anytime, anywhere. 3 services can be accessed fully digitally. We have the One Government Network, which is a project that aims to connect all the unconnected public entities. So far, we've been able to connect more than 1,700 institutions, public institutions, including schools, health centers, local government offices, and what we call SACCO, Financial Services institution in rural areas. We also have the Service Access Point project and Digital Ambassadors program, and these are programs that really focus on empowering the citizen to be able to take advantage of the digital transformation through service access points. People in the rural areas that don't own computers at their home, they can go to the service access point to get access to internet, to computers, to be able to apply for services through Irembo. And then the DAP program, it's youth that are trained to deliver basic training to citizens on basic digital literacy. So it's a way to empower the citizen really to be able to interact with technology. And then specifically in the smart education, ICT in education strategy, we have the Smart Classroom project, where in partnership with Positivo, an assembly plant was set up in Kigali, and so far almost 55,000 computers were assembled in Kigali, Rwanda, and distributed in schools, and are being used by students at both basic education and university level. Next, please. Then, these are some of the key achievements so far. Like I said, fiber optic is deployed across the country. We have one laptop per child that was distributed in schools, and 64% of primary schools were covered. Internet penetration is reaching 50%, phone penetration at 74.7% as of June 2019. We have a national data center and 4G coverage at 96%. Then, are we done? Next. Okay. Next, please. Next, please. So also, we've launched the Rwanda Coding Academy, which is a high school type of TVET that is focusing on developing software development in quality and quantity, because our market is really demanding high level of software development skills. So Rwanda took an initiative to set up a dedicated special program focusing on software development. And it's a new school that really is contributing to developing the needed skills for our market and the region, as well as the global market. So these young girls and boys are learning to code mainly, but also are being set to really compete on the global level. And as you can see, they are using computers that are made in Rwanda in partnership with Positivo. And so far, we have 60 students that have started, 30 young girls and 30 young boys, all very high class, very brilliant and smart. From our examination process, they were the top. Next, please. Next, please. So, in terms of what we've learned throughout the journey, generally we've realized that the digital literacy and awareness for the citizen to embrace technology is very important, a core to the digital transformation. Also, it's very important to ensure that citizens have affordable access to smart devices so they can really use them in their daily lives. And then to develop local contextualized content is very important also. Specifically, in terms of ICT in education, we learned that the teacher is the center of the transformation. So it's very important to ensure that the teacher is empowered to be the driver or the champion of the digital transformation that we envisage. And then we very much need stakeholders alignment so to ensure a very well-coordinated implementation. By here, it's the end of my presentation. In Kinyarwanda, we say murakoze. Next slide, please. Murakoze, and thank you.